Hello and welcome back to another video. In today's video, we are going to be reading out of the Book of Mormon in Alma chapter 48. And this is talking a little bit about Moroni as he's preparing his people because the Lamanites are coming to attack his people. So this is super cool. We're going to start here in verse 11. And it says here, "And Moroni was a strong and a mighty man. He was a man of perfect understanding, yea, a man that did not delight in bloodshed, a man whose soul did joy in the liberty and the freedom of his country, and his brethren from bondage and slavery. Yea, a man whose heart did swell with thanksgiving to his God, for the many privileges and blessings which he bestowed upon his people. A man who did labor exceedingly for the welfare and safety of his people." So you can see the type of person that Moroni was. He didn't delight in bloodshed. He cared about his people. He just was so thankful to God for all the blessings that God had bestowed upon his people. And then we keep reading here. "Yea, he was a man who was firm in the faith of Christ, and he had sworn with an oath to defend his people, his rights, and his country, and his religion, even to the loss of his blood. Now the Nephites were taught to defend themselves against their enemies, even to the shedding of blood if it were necessary. And they were also taught never to give an offense, yea, never to raise the sword, except it were against an enemy, except it were to preserve their lives." So the Nephites were taught really only to use their weapons if they needed to defend their people. And this was their faith, that by so doing God would prosper them in the land, or in other words, if they were faithful in keeping the commandments of God, that he would prosper them in the land, yea, warn them to flee or to prepare for war according to their danger. And also that God would make it known unto them whither they should go to defend themselves against their enemies. And by so doing the Lord would deliver them. And this was the faith of Moroni, and his heart did glory in it, not in the shedding of blood, but in doing good, in preserving his people, yea, in keeping the commandments of God, yea, in resisting iniquity." Isn't that so cool? "Yea, verily, verily, I say unto you, if all men had been and were and ever would be like unto Moroni, behold, the very powers of hell would have been shaken forever. Yea, the devil would never have power over the hearts of the children of men." So this is what happens when the love of Christ comes into somebody's life. Moroni had a deep love for God, and Jesus Christ and his love filled his heart. And that love that he had for God made him the type of person that he was. And it's because of Jesus Christ that Moroni was able to do the things that he did, to protect his people, to preserve his people, to love righteousness and hate iniquity, and really to be the type of person that he was. That's all because of Jesus Christ and the love that Moroni has for Jesus Christ. You can see it in these verses. So I just testify to you guys that as we learn to love God, he brings his spirit into our lives. And as we feel that spirit, it changes us. It gives us power to do good, to be like Moroni here, and to love righteousness, right? To love God, to love what's right, and to have a distaste towards iniquity. So you can see here that Moroni had power given to him from heaven because he loved Jesus Christ and God the Father. So I just testify to you guys that I know Jesus Christ lives, that he can change you, that He loves you, that He's there for you, that He's looking out for you, He cares about you, He wants your success, and that as we turn to Him, He will bring His Spirit into our lives. And I say these things in His name, Jesus Christ. Amen.